Good early afternoon. We are live. Me with my Christmas story, you'll shoot your eye out cup of Mountain Dew. And you here with me, watching, enjoying our time together on the Blue Plate Special. We're here at the wharf in Orange Beach, Alabama. It's kind of a cool day here. Hi, Diane Hale from Tennessee. We've got a great show planned, and I'll just tell you now, I'm going to do socks for Christmas in a little bit, okay? So just, gather the friends and neighbors and the kids. Hello, Judson Perkins. How are you doing? Hey, who's in Eastern Washington? 27 degrees? Marcy Crosser Taylor. Okay, all right. Deborah McClusty. Hey, from Orange Beach. It's good to have somebody. And Christy, my sister, is here. Christy, thank you for sharing. Irene Robinson. She says, greetings, Sir Andy of the Orange Beach Kingdom. Yvonne Palmer. Hey, Jeff Herring. Hey. You guys, if you're on... I know some of you probably get tired of me saying this, but if you're on Facebook, do click the notification button and turn the notifications on your phone. And please share this, okay? Please share it. This one especially, I think you're going to enjoy sharing because in a few minutes I am going to do the socks for Christmas, the whole story, okay? And we're open here at the wharf today. I've got something. I wish you could see it. You can't see it right now, but it's like right down there. And next week, we've got glass coming. It's a ship that a friend of mine who passed away last year has had for years and years and years. He had it in his restaurant. And when Polly and I first got married, we would go in the restaurant and I would sit and stare at this ship. It's like a tugboat, and it's about, I don't know, 3.5 feet long and probably 2 feet high, and it's made of matches. It's a work of art, I'm telling you, and that was given to me, and so what a great thing. We're gonna have a glass case to showcase it in, so when you come here you can see this. Hey, old man, I saw you're on. Eva Jean Hodge from Elkin, North Carolina. And hang on just a second. Sorry. Have you noticed now? I just got something in my throat. I'm not sick. But have you guys noticed that, a year ago, if you walked around outside and some car alarm started going off, nobody would even look. And yet now, if somebody in a parking lot coughs, everybody's like, so very weird. Hey, David Smith, how are you doing? Betty, good afternoon. Jerry Anderson, hey, buddy. Now I talked about coughing. Now I'm like coughing all the time. Let's see. What did I want to tell you before we do the socks for Christmas thing? Hi to the Twitter people and the Instagram people. And if you are on YouTube or if you ever visit YouTube, please go on one of our videos there and then click the subscribe button. So it'll put it over on the side. So when you go on YouTube, you'll see that little list of stuff that you can hit our stuff very quickly. And by the way, one good reason to have the YouTube thing is almost every Blue Plate that we do, Matt will cut out a chunk of it, and so that'll be on the YouTube channel. Just to pick out the funny part or whatever. Hey, Johnny Hall. So he'll click, cut out the funny part, and we had we cut out the what you cut out the other day, Matt? Was it the phone call? When I took the phone call when I won the what is that? The Range Rover and the Land Rover and $550,000, not $500,000, but $550,000. And so you cut that out. And how many views did we have?
I haven't looked since last week, but it was at over 1.5 million then.
So anyway, we cut out these things and put them out there, and those are on the YouTube channel that you can see. So anyway, hey, also, how you like the shirt? We got a bunch of new shirts and a bunch of stuff. A bunch of stuff in the store, and it's all going up on the website. And we have greeting cards. They're just, I think they look really nice. And so, but the shirt, it's a Wisdom Harbor. I can't really say it, but it's a Wisdom Harbor shirt. This is a Comfort Colors brand. We have probably 5 different colors of this shirt. And then can you show them what's on the back, Matt? We're going with the flow, little thing on the thing, and then the big thing on the back. It's evidently how it's done today. Even though when I was growing up, we did it the correct way, which is on the front. Why would you want somebody to see everything you see when you're walking away? You know what I'm saying? I don't really get it, but that's the way it's done. But we've still got, we got the 50 Famous Parents shirt, and it's on the front, and we got a couple other things on the front. So let me tell you about the socks for Christmas, and I also want to make sure. Now, listen to me carefully here. If you have not signed up for our VIP email list on andyandrews.com, make sure that you sign up for that email list, because we're starting a new thing here, and it's going to be a weekly promo code for the store and the website and everything that only, and this promo code is this program that only the people who are signed up on the email list get the promo code. Okay, so if you go to andyandrews.com/VIP, just make sure you're on that email list, because every week we're going to send out the promo code. Now today on the show, just because you're watching, we're going to offer a promo code on the show. Okay, so Socks for Christmas, the book, the little book here, is 20% off through December 15th. And so use the promo code SOCKS20. That's SOCKS 20, all one word. SOCKS 20. Before I do this, this is still one of my favorite things that I have done. And I still think it's pretty funny that right there on the cover is a picture of Christy, my sister, and myself when we were little, when I had those big black glasses. My wife calls those birth control glasses. And all the way through, there's some really I just loved the art that they did, because, here's like Rock'em Sock'em Robots, and it's just all just very cool. What else do they have in here? The Hot Wheels. Now, see, there's a picture of Christy and me with Jesus' birthday cake. Every Christmas Eve when we were growing up, we always had Jesus' birthday party. And let's see, what else is in here? Oh, there's the chains that we used to do with construction paper. Do they still have construction paper? Do kids still have construction paper? That's what we called it, right? Yeah, like colored kind of cheap paper. Construction paper. I remember one year, Matt, what was it? Was your big gift?
I had to have been 8 years old or something, and for Christmas, all I wanted was construction paper and tape. And that was just about all that I got for Christmas, but happy as can be.
Yeah, I bet your parents were happy too.
I think I got 18 rolls of tape and like 1,500 sheets of paper.
Oh my gosh. I bet your parents were like, okay, just get it for him. Listen, don't mention a bicycle, don't mention a train set, don't mention nothing. Just go get the construction paper and the tape. Oh, wow. What a cheap kid. Candyland. Remember Candyland? Operation. Rock'em Sock'em Robots. The Rock'em Sock'em. You know, we still have that at our house. We have a set of Rock'em Sock'em robots. So I love this book, and I think that it's amazing what has happened in this book over the years. There's so many families that have a tradition of reading this book to their families. You know, sometime during the Christmas season, there are radio stations that play it. I know Rick and Bubba play me reading this story every year, and so I hope the book means something to your family, and I want to do it for you here right now. Okay, and what was that you said? Oh yeah, all the books are now. Yeah, all these books are signed for free.
Yep, anything on andyandrews.com comes with a free autograph.
Okay, yeah, all the books coming out of andyandrews.com now are signed for free. Okay, so you know, people ask me, they say, "Do you get does your hand get tired?" It's not my hand, it's my brain, because you know that I've signed a lot when I sign one. You know, because it's like, choom, choom, like that. But you know that I've signed too much when I start signing Andy. So if you get an Andy, you'll know, boy, he was signing a lot that day. Betty says that Socks is the first book that she read, and George Kosser said, "You're right, we do." George said we need a camera for you. He said, he's really ugly.
I have a face for radio.
Yeah, Matt has a face for radio. He's not really ugly. He's good looking. He's a good-looking young man. He's actually huge, pretty big. Okay, so you ready? Let's do this. Socks for Christmas. This is a child's discovery of the true riches of Christmas. There are 24 hours in a day, only 24. That translates to 1,440 minutes or 86,400 seconds every single day of my adult life. But as a boy, there was one night every year that lasted longer than any other. One night when clocks actually slowed down. This phenomena generally occurred near the end of December, specifically the night of the 24th, Christmas Eve. I'd gone to bed at 9 p.m. after leaving a note, pound cake, and a glass of buttermilk for Santa Claus. Every Christmas Eve for as many of my 7 years as I could remember, that's what I left him. A note, pound cake, and a glass of buttermilk. The note contained the usual niceties about being careful not to slip on the roof and saying hello to Rudolph, but its primary purpose was, of course, to make one last stab at getting the presents I wanted. The pound cake was left over from Jesus' birthday party, which we had celebrated before bedtime. And the buttermilk was always left because my dad insisted that it was Santa's favorite drink. Personally, I hated the stuff, but since my father drank it by the gallon, I assumed he knew. By 10:30, I was still awake. I was mentally tracing Santa's route to our house at 1505 Randall Road. It did concern me somewhat that he might not find me because of a mistake on the road signs. Randall at one end of our road was spelled with one L, and at the other end, the sign proclaimed Randall with two L's. Would he be able to locate me? Maybe he would get confused, come in from Randall Road once, and later enter the neighborhood by way of Randall Road, and I'd get presents twice. Not likely, I knew, but these are the kind of things a kid thinks about on Christmas Eve. Earlier, I had heard on the local news that Santa's sleigh had been tracked on radar leaving Thailand, and the predictions were that he would soon be in Singapore. I wasn't sure where Singapore was, but I thought it might be near Mississippi, which was the state next to us. In any case, that's why I went to bed at 9 o'clock. At 11 o'clock, I wasn't even sleepy. I could smell the Christmas tree from the bedroom. My dad loved Christmas and would have had our tree up, trimmed, and glowing by Labor Day if my mom had let him. But as she told him every year, our family was not going to skip Thanksgiving. As it was, the tree had been decorated since the day after Thanksgiving and would remain so until a loud discussion occurred between my parents. This discussion usually took place around the 1st of February. Although my mother consistently prevailed and the tree did come down, I always thought my dad had a strong argument by pointing out that just because the needles had fallen off the tree, that didn't necessarily mean it was dead. The tree itself stretched 50 feet into the air. The fact that we only had an 8-foot ceiling cast a shadow of doubt on my recollection of this particular point, but you get the idea. It was a big tree. We bought a blue spruce every year. That variety was, according to my dad, the only real Christmas tree. A blue spruce, he said, was more aromatic. It was the same kind of tree Jesus had as a boy, and he explained it wouldn't get sap all over the carpet like a stinking Scotch pine. Family tradition dictated that we make our own decorations, though the tree looked beautiful to me. In reality, it was probably kind of junky. Construction paper chains, stars shaped out of pipe cleaners, and bells made from foil-covered Dixie cups were everywhere. I hung a toilet brush from the bathroom on it one year, and no one noticed for days. At 12:01 a.m., it was technically Christmas, but I knew better than to venture into the living room. I was to stay in bed until Mom and Dad came to get me, and besides, I didn't want to blow the whole deal. I had been warned repeatedly that Santa would not come until I was asleep. But how was I supposed to go to sleep? This was only the most incredible day of the year. There was no way I could go to sleep. I'd just have to fake it and hope Santa wasn't as sharp as everyone said. No way was I going to sleep. I just wouldn't. Heck, I'd already been awake for a week. I'd just have to stick it out till daylight. Son, my father shook me. I opened my eyes. Santa, he said, has been here. Ignoring the fact that I had indeed gone to sleep, I jumped out of bed and ran to the living room. The tree, more than 100 feet tall now, was almost covered with gifts and toys of every sort. There was the basketball I'd asked for. Where was the BB gun? There was the incredible edible machine. Now I could make bugs to eat in front of my sister. Where was my BB gun? My Candyland game. Baseball glove. There's the G.I. Joe. My BB gun must be one of the wrapped presents, I thought, but it wasn't. Neither was the electric football game I'd wanted. I did, however, get 2 sweaters, blue jeans, a white belt, and from my Aunt Ruth, socks. Socks. Who wanted socks? What kind of Christmas present was socks? I had socks. I had a drawer full of socks. I was not pleased. All in all, however, my haul was impressive. I had scored on some of the main things I'd wanted, and if I didn't think about the clothes, and especially the socks, I was happy. Before too long, the most important part of Christmas was at hand. My dad was asleep in the recliner, Mom was in the kitchen, and I was now free to compare loot with my friends. This ritual, practiced with every kid since time began, was a large part of our growing up process. 7 years old seems to be a little early to be keeping up with the Joneses, but that's exactly what we did. My first stop was 2 houses down. Johnny Hamilton had gotten a bicycle. It had a tiger-striped banana seat and spider handlebars. It was beautiful, but he wouldn't let me ride it, so I left. Later that day, while showing off for Kathy Burns, Johnny tried to pop a wheelie, fell off the bike, and cried. I laughed. Down the street, Greg and Richard Fraley were in the guinea pig business. Mr. Fraley had made a trip to the emergency room early that morning after being bitten by the one named Charlie. He hated those guinea pigs after that, but he never again tried to put a bow on one. Roger Lofton had gotten the electric football game I had wanted, graciously pointing out the flaws in that particular model. I generally acted unimpressed. Roger had also received the Rock'em Sock'em robots. We didn't play with them because, thanks to his brother Stuart, they were already broken. Danny Foster's dad was a doctor. They lived across Cherokee Avenue in another much nicer neighborhood. I hated going to Danny's house that morning because I knew what Danny had gotten for Christmas. Everything. He had an operation game, battleship game, a tetherball set, the deluxe model electric football game, a real mini bike, 4 horsepower, a bicycle like Johnny's only better, a trampoline, a swing set, and a BB gun. I stayed at Danny's house for more than an hour. Danny really knew how to show a kid a good time. We dug a hole in the vacant lot next door and put the box from the trampoline over it. It's a great fort. Walking home, I was imagining Christmas dinner. I felt sure that we'd have the same wonderful menu that we'd had the year before. Turkey and dressing with cranberry sauce, sweet potato casserole with pecans and brown sugar on the top, peas, corn, pickled peaches, and homemade rolls. I walked faster. Rounding the corner behind the Vine and Olive Motel, I saw Timmy Johnson and his sister, Barbara, tossing an old tennis ball in their front yard. As usual, neither was wearing a jacket, though the temperature was in the 40s. Timmy was in my class at school. Barbara was 3 years older. They didn't seem to have many friends. Even at lunchtime, they would go out on the playground to swing from the jungle gym or just talk. They never went with us into the cafeteria and never brought a sack lunch. The Lofton boys said it was because they were snobs. I thought maybe so too. Hi, Timmy, I said as I approached. What'd you get for Christmas? I got everything I wanted except a BB gun and an electric football game. They continued tossing the ball back and forth. Thinking he didn't hear me, I tried again. Hey, show me what you got for Christmas. Never looking at me, Timmy mumbled, I got these shoes. I could see the shoes he had received. Big, black, hard leather shoes that looked as if they might belong to my grandfather. But they were shined, polished, and tied directly onto his feet. Barbara had on a pair that didn't appear to be drastically different. I had never seen either of them with anything other than tennis shoes. Once, Timmy was sent home from school for showing up barefooted. After that, he was absent for a week. Watching them continue to throw the ball, I noticed something not quite right. I said, "That's not the way you're supposed to wear those shoes." The ball fell to the ground. As they turned to face me, Barbara said, "What do you mean by that? We're wearing them just like you are, on our feet." She looked mad. I tried to explain myself. "Yeah, that's right," I stammered, "but you're not wearing socks. You're supposed to wear socks with those kind of shoes." For a moment, we stared at each other. Then, without warning, Timmy started crying and ran inside. Barbara called me a name and ran after him. I stood there a few minutes wondering what I had done. I even knocked on their door, but no one answered, so I went home. When I arrived, I told my parents what had happened with Timmy and Barbara. I told them exactly what I'd said. My mom had tears running down her cheeks as my dad picked me up and carried me to my bedroom. I thought I was about to get a spanking, but instead he hugged me. He told me all about why Danny Foster got big presents and why I didn't get an electric football game. Gently, he explained to me about Santa Claus and buttermilk, and then, wiping the tears from my face, he told me why my friends didn't wear socks with their shoes. I now remember that day as an awakening. I had never known there were families without enough to eat. Amid all the decorations and songs and parties surrounding our most magical holiday, it had never occurred to me that some parents might do without the luxury of socks for their children simply because they couldn't afford them. Many holiday seasons have passed since that year. Timmy and Barbara moved away while I was in the 4th grade, and I never saw them again. But I have never forgotten that Christmas. Wherever I live, there will always be people in my own neighborhood who are in some way less fortunate than I. And to this day, there is one Christmas gift I treasure above all others: the gift of a pair of socks. You know, I've read that a lot of times. I have a hard time getting through that last part. Almost always. So, thank you guys for sitting and listening. What does that say? It's hello from South Korea. I am your friend. It is 3 a.m. in our country, but I am watching you on YouTube. Hey, thank you so much. I appreciate that very, very much. And I appreciate all you guys. Have a good weekend. I know it starts tomorrow afternoon, but we'll see you next week. And I'm sure Matt will separate this video out and put out the Socks for Christmas thing by itself, and you can share that if you'd like to. And get the books and read along with me. I love looking through the pictures, and the memories are just they're great ones and very meaningful ones too. So thank you guys, and appreciate the time with you. Love you all very much. Keep in touch.